Okay, good morning, good morning. I think we're live. Yes? Okay, good. Okay. Before we begin, we're going to start off immediately with prayer and intention. If this is a part of the live stream you want to join, you're welcome to. If not, that's okay. Get yourself some coffee, use the toilet. Because today we're going to be tapping on installing a belief into our subconscious mind and really feeling that what we have to say is valuable. Okay. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive our debtors as we forgive our debts. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive our trespassors. Forgive our trespassers as we forgive our trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you, God, for all you do. Thank you, God, for being our friend. Thank you, God, for your unconditional love and kindness. Thank you, God, for your love and support. Thank you, God, for all the blessings, miracles, and gifts of today. Thank you, God, for our lives. Thank you, God, for always protecting us and always looking after us. Our intention for this EFT tapping session is to install the belief and to really feel and believe that what we have to say is valuable and is of value, and that we are of service to others. Thank you for removing everything that's not the truth back to your light, God, for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. And so it is, and so it was. Thank you. Okay. So today, this is what we have. We're going to talk briefly about I just lost my thought here. I definitely have to get better at preparation. This is just me going live with this. All right, well, the 12-minute teaching right now, that's going to have to wait because I don't have presentations prepared, and I will have that at some point, but this is me getting the reps in. So if you happen to be watching this, this is me getting the reps in. This is me warming up, because I will eventually be creating PowerPoint presentations and then uploading that to the long form, and then I'll eventually be taking these elements of the live stream and then be clipping that for shorts. Yes, because my intention is at this stage maximum growth. That is correct. 100% undeniable. Yes, I am also doing this to work on myself. Yes, and I'm also doing this to build a personal brand. Yes, absolutely. And I'm also documenting my process, what I've been going through. And as you may have seen from the 2025, I had a situation that basically took me out of hiding. And be that as it may, here we are today. Here we are today talking about feeling like what we have to say is of value. And no, I don't believe that it matters that I have on this sweater and sweatpants as I speak this message. I have seen people that, like a Jesus, they just wear a robe and their message comes across. So is there really a difference? No, I don't think so. I think the difference is in the energy, in the presence. And that's something that I'm on the journey to working on for myself. I don't believe it matters the clothes that we wear. or the haircuts or anything like this. Yes, this is me applying the message a little bit differently. Overall, though, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I believe. And you may be the type of person as well that you have a message, or you have something to say, or you believe currently that what you have to say is not of value. So, on today's EFT live stream, we're going to go from not feeling like we have something of value to say, or not believing we have something of value to say, to installing the belief, what I have to say is very valuable. What I have to share with the world is very valuable. And I want that for you. I want that for us. Give me 1 second. Let me adjust my key light here. Maybe. Good enough. It's good enough, right? Okay. With that said, let's begin. Starting with the setup statement, all the EFT tapping points are listed in the description box below. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value regardless. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say. There's already some yawning here. We're getting some releases. I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to share, I choose to recognize my value now. Okay, let's go first round. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Hold up. Yes, I gotta make sure the mood is right. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Wow, that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Oh, that's interesting. That's true. That's true. Even though I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Even though I believe I have nothing of value to say, I choose to recognize my value now. Okay, now we're going to transition into a freestyle round. Let's see if this works. Does this work like this? No, I don't think so. I think that's way too... Yeah, that's probably way too noticeable. Yep. Better like that. Yes, that's right. Working on creating a vibe. That is correct. That is correct, for sure. For sure, for sure. I'm working on creating that vibe. You better believe it. You better believe it. Okay, let's go to the freestyle round. Now in this round, I want you to imagine, I gotta get that image. Imagine that there's a projector, and that projector is playing a movie of you. Maybe this is you when you were a kid. Maybe this is you when you were having an experience, when you had something to say and you thought it was valuable, but it didn't come off that way, or at least that's what you perceived. Maybe you believed what I have to say isn't of value. Maybe because I'm a kid, I'm meant to be seen and not heard. And that could really affect the way people feel about themselves as they get older, especially if they believe that they're children. So I want you to pull up a movie, a memory, right? We're calling it a movie because we want to make sure that we see it as a character. It could be a very intense experience. It could be a very intense feeling that could have traumatized you when you were younger. And that could have affected your ability to want to speak in front of people and want to be heard and want to be seen. And we don't want that. So today we're going to really focus on clearing that for ourselves, making sure that we are at peace moving forward. Because I think that what you have to say is very valuable. And if you're not using your voice constructively, if you're not speaking the things that maybe you have been wanting to say, you have to ask yourself, why not? Is there really an excuse, or is there something inside? Maybe there's a perfectionist part. Maybe there's a part of you that judges yourself. Whatever that is, I want you to put that experience, put that memory on that projector, and I want you to rate it from 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense. If nothing comes up, that's okay. We're still going to tap through it anyway. But just imagine for yourself, from 0 to 10, what's that experience? How intense was it? And this will be for your own records, okay? So write that number down, starting experience 10, or whatever the number is, from 0 to 10. And we're going to tap through it. And at the end, we're going to test it. Okay? And as I tap through this, I don't remember much. There's nothing really concrete coming up for me right now. What is coming up, though, is my biological mother and how I felt in her presence. And how I felt in her presence very often was unseen and unheard. I felt very ignored. I felt very ignored by my biological mother because I remember that for her, whenever I would speak to her, I had a very soft voice. And I remember that she would I still remember that. It's these comments that she would make that, you're speaking too low. Speak up, what? I can't hear you. What? Or if I would be talking to her about something, she would look at me and then very disrespectfully, she would say, I'm sorry, what? I wasn't paying attention. It made me feel very ignored. It made me feel like maybe she didn't want me. Maybe she didn't want me as a son. Maybe she didn't want kids and I was a mistake. Very possible. I don't know. I really do not know. I really don't know. But that's how I felt. That is legitimately how I felt. And it didn't feel good. I felt like what I had to say was not of value. And good release. Very good. Let's fade this out, please. All right. Yeah, I felt like what I had to say was not of value. I felt like this is not important for her. It's not important. Whatever I have to say is not important. I'm not important. That's how I felt. Not important. I felt like I was not important. And I remember another time too where it was very contradictory, because there was a time where there was a time before that when I was speaking very loudly, and I had no volume, so to speak, for my indoor voice or my outdoor voice. So it was all the same. And whenever I used my voice, I would really project my voice. And I remember one time, Yolanda Sarah, my biological mother, she said, "You're too loud. Quiet, like be quiet." It's contradictory. It's contradictory to say you're too loud, be quiet, to I can't hear you, you're mumbling. Yeah, why do you think I'm mumbling? Because I'm trying to please you. I'm trying to make you happy so that you get off my ass. And this created an inner conflict in me, created a massive inner conflict within me. Because from then on, I developed a tendency of mumbling, of speaking very softly, not raising my voice, not projecting my voice. And I was always perceived as very quiet. Many, many people told me growing up, "You're so quiet. Why are you so quiet?" And it's not that I'm quiet. It's just I don't want to talk to you, number one. And number two, I'm observing you. And number three is I have, at that stage, the belief that what I have to say isn't of value. It's that simple. And what I've learned from this journey of tapping over the years is that when you have a thought and you think that thought over and over and over again, and you start to really identify with it, you start to build up a feeling behind it, a charge. And then that charge now creates the feeling that this is true for you. So a belief, I think, is the combination of a repetitive thought and the emotional charge to it that has a feeling. That becomes the belief. And according to a trading psychologist, I read pretty much all of his books in 2024. It was really interesting. His name was Dr. Van Tharp. He's since passed away. However, in his books, he mentioned that a majority of traders' downfall is their lack of emotional control. And that emotional control is perhaps the number one most important thing to taking care of and improving on their trading performance. So if you are a trader, like me, I swing trade the markets, although I haven't been trading in quite some time now because I've been traumatized from this custody removal situation. Your emotional control, your ability to control your state and to be in a good and peaceful state and to have your emotions regulated for you to take care of your emotional hygiene on a daily basis, that is the, according to Dr. Van Tharp, the determining factor to have success in the financial markets. So, these memories, it's been tough. This is not who I want to be. And this stuck with me. This really stuck with me for a large part of my life. Maybe even a little bit today. Believing that I have nothing of value to say. And there's part of me that could be thinking, oh yeah, just look towards the evidence now. You have this new YouTube channel. You've been posting live streams every single day. You have XYZ views. It's not like last time with the tarot reading. Lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. These are the thoughts in my head. Lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. You blew it, Gabriel. You blew your shot. These are the thoughts in my head. And this is what I recognize. And this is what I am aware of. And I acknowledge these voices in my head. I acknowledge what these voices in my head are telling me. I acknowledge what these voices in my head are saying. Maybe I don't have anything of value to say. Maybe this is not valuable. Maybe EFT tapping is not valuable. Maybe it's not valuable what I'm doing. Good release. Maybe this is not valuable. Maybe I'm wasting my time here. Maybe I'm not valuable. Maybe I'm not attractive. Maybe I'm not good looking enough. Maybe I can't speak well. Maybe it's my teeth. Maybe it's the shadows in the back. Maybe it's the clothes I'm wearing. Maybe it's the tooth fairy. All these things are just beliefs. These are just thoughts that are coming up, surfacing from the subconscious mind, the inner voices. The voices in my head, maybe you have those voices too. I'm quite certain you do. I'm quite certain you do. And the key is to not ignore it. The key is to pay attention, to acknowledge it, and to confront it from a place of love so that it can go. Because chances are it just needs attention. So I don't believe that what I have to say is valuable. And I could look to that evidence in the outer world. I can say, oh, I've been uploading every single day on the live stream, and the highest viewed live stream that I have is 14 views in these entire 45 days. I could say that. I could very much say that. But is that really true? Maybe. Because on the last YouTube channel that I had, by this time, just me posting up those tarot videos that I was posting every single week, I was getting so many subscribers. I was getting so many views. Do I really want to do that to myself? Do I really, really want to do that to myself? Do I really want to put myself in that situation of thinking that this is not valuable? Do I really want to become dependent on becoming a social media influencer or having a personal brand? And there's a lot of uncertainty because I have one daughter and I have another child on the way. And there's a part of me that is scared and concerned. Well, what if I don't make it? What if I don't have the financial resources to take care of my children? What if I'm incapable of providing? All thoughts in my head, all ideas that do not serve my greatest and highest good, I acknowledge it. I acknowledge all of these thoughts. I acknowledge everything I'm feeling. I acknowledge everything I'm thinking. I acknowledge it. And I'm honest with myself. And that's all I can ever do. All I can ever do is just be honest with myself. All I can ever do is just be honest with what I'm thinking, what's going on in my head, and to take care of myself. I think a lot of people ignore the voices in their head. I think a lot of people ignore what they're feeling, and they do their best to suppress that feeling, to wash it down with alcohol, to numb it with narcotics or other substances. I choose to, hey, you could say I do drugs too, and fair enough. If you want to call magic mushrooms and ayahuasca, iboga, LSD drugs, okay, fair enough. I do that, and I'm not trying to justify, I'm not trying to make excuses, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm doing these things to make sure that I take care of my mental health. I'm going purposely into my subconscious. I'm going purposely into the spirit world so that I can understand, so that I can expand my consciousness, so that I can reach a higher state of enlightenment. If possible, maybe I already am. I don't know. I don't know. I don't choose to be angry. I choose to be a very peaceful person. I choose to have great love in my heart. I choose to have great love in my heart. And I choose to share this message. I choose to share this gift. This is my gift to you. This is my gift to the world. This is my gift to humanity. It's to be in a very peaceful state. It's to teach others how to regulate themselves, how to change their beliefs, how to change the way they feel. It's to teach how to change their identities. I think there's a lot of people also that don't like themselves, and they don't like what they say. They don't like the color of their skin. They don't like the way they look. And I think the bigger message here is that I believe that this is how our Creator created us. This is how God created me. This is where I am. I could be on a private jet right now. I could have my own private jet right now. Could I? Maybe. I don't know. But this is where I am. This is my life. These are my experiences, and I own that. I choose to own that, and I choose to say, okay, these are my cards. This is what I've been through. Let me look back at the past and see, okay, I've been through some experiences in my life. They've been, for me, traumatizing. Maybe it's just me in my head. I'm a highly sensitive person. Maybe it could just be that. And it's all in my head. Possible. Fine. Okay. Or I could say, yes, these were some really traumatic experiences. Maybe someone else in my shoes may not have made it. And the fact that I'm here, I cannot logically explain that sometimes. And I believe that that's God. That has something to do with the hand of God. That has something to do with the grace of God and the grace of my great divine spirit team and whatever benevolent, loving, kind energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it, Mother Earth, celestial beings are looking after me. So then if I take that perception, if I think about it from that way, then maybe I'm here for a reason. That could be a thought. That could be a new thought. And if I'm here for a reason, then maybe, just maybe, the beliefs that I have, maybe they're just faulty. Maybe they just need to be rewired. Maybe I do have something of value to say. Maybe what I have to say is very valuable. Maybe I can give myself permission to believe that what I have to say is of value. Maybe what I have to say is of value. Maybe. Maybe it is valuable. Maybe I am valuable. Maybe my life is valuable. Yolanda Sarah, why did you do that? Why did you ignore me? Why did you make me feel like I was unheard? I feel something in my face here, like from the cheeks up. I don't know if it's that I want to cry or something, or I don't know, I just feel something in my face just now as I said that. I think there's a trapped emotion. I think there's an echo. It's not easy. This has been difficult. It's been very difficult. Why would you do that? Do you know how that affected me? It wouldn't matter anyway. it wouldn't matter to go to that person anyway, because what matters is how I feel. And these experiences, this would carry me for the rest of my life until now. And what I mean by that is, after those initial experiences where Yolanda Sarah would contradict herself, tell me to be quiet because I was too loud, and then tell me to speak up because I was mumbling. After she would ignore me many times when I was speaking, I remember that pattern followed me. And whenever I was in a group of people and I would be talking, someone would talk over me. And then it's like my voice was ignored. Or even with strangers, my voice was ignored. It felt like I did not or was incapable of projecting my voice or commanding a certain presence. And my voice was ignored. My voice was unheard. My voice was disregarded. And that's what that felt like every single time. I've had those experiences. I've noticed this for myself. Maybe it's in my head. Maybe you can call that perception. But I've noticed that. I don't have the loudest voice. I don't want to have the loudest voice. I don't want to be the loudest person. I do not. I do not. What I want is to get my message across. That's my intention. I don't believe I need to be the loudest or the most flamboyant in my expressions or charismatic. But I do believe I also don't need to be monotone, silent, death pitch. Imagine trying to read a script as an actor. No emotion. No life. That's why we do EFT. That's why we do EFT. We do EFT to release stuck emotions. We do EFT to let go of these emotions and these feelings that have kept us trapped. Because it can be very entrapping. It can be incredibly entrapping. We don't want that. We do not want that. I don't want that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. And even though I feel like my voice isn't valuable, like what I have to say isn't valuable, I choose to look for new evidence. Yes, there have been times where I've told something to my partner, Hema, and I told her these things for a reason, and she completely ignored it. Like, for example, getting $30,000 into debt because she wanted to put that cash into the crypto markets. I told her, hey, I had student loan debt. It is not a joke. You have to pay off the principal and the interest. And if you don't pay off the principal and the interest, it's going to compound. It's not just paying off the principal. You have to pay it all off. And you have to pay off more than is the suggested loan amount for the month. Otherwise, you're going to keep on. Whatever is the minimum suggested amount or that they have for a bill, you got to pay off more than that. Because then otherwise, it's just going to keep compounding and compounding. And I told her this. She didn't listen. And now there's $30,000 in debt. And it's going to be my responsibility because if we're going to get married, she's going to have to, it's going to be my problem now. It's going to also be my problem. And I don't want that. I do not want that. And it has to get fixed. That has to get fixed. That very much has to get fixed immediately. And there's no other way to say that. It has to get fixed. Can't do it like this anymore. 37 years old. Can't do it like this anymore. It has to change. It has to change. And so there are these memories where I feel like my voice has been ignored. I feel like there have been times where my thoughts that I've expressed or what I had to say has been ignored. And maybe that comes from a place of ego. Sure. Okay, fine. But tell me this, then why are we here having this human experience? I do believe that we do need the ego to a sense, to a degree, to help us fulfill our purpose. I do believe that we need our ego, in a sense, to help us fulfill our purpose. Otherwise, what's the point? Why are we here? Why are you here? There has to be a reason why you're here. I believe that 100%. I do believe that there is a reason why you are here. There's a reason why I'm here. There is a reason why we are here. For sure. Maybe it's because I don't feel like I'm valuable. Maybe that's why I feel like whatever I have to say is not of value, because maybe I don't feel like I have value. Maybe I feel that because I don't have the right financial standing that I'm not of value. And I understand that. I really, really understand that. And I have compassion. We're just letting it all go now. And I have compassion for that part of myself. I have compassion for that part of myself that believes that because I don't have a certain financial standing, that I have no value. Even though I believe I don't have any value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though, tap with me here, even though I believe I don't have any value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I don't have any value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I don't have any value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I don't have any value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Even though I believe I have no value, I choose to recognize my worth now. Maybe I do have something of value to say. Maybe I do. Maybe what I have to say is important, and it's important enough for me to share it. Maybe God gave me these experiences so that I can talk about them, so that I can help someone else, so that I can be of service. Maybe. Is that helpful to believe? Yes. Is it the truth? I don't know. But it's helpful to believe it. And I think that that is fair enough for me. I think it's fair enough to believe that God created these experiences not to punish me, but to polish me, to make me the person I needed to be, to help me become the type of person who can do this work and who can help others. I've been through this. At this point, it's pretty easy. It's not rocket science. It's fairly simple. And I recognize myself. I recognize my worth. I choose to recognize my worth. I choose to recognize my value. I choose to recognize that what I have to say is important. I choose to recognize my value as a human being, as a soul, as a man, as a father. Violet flame, violet flame, violet flame. Dissolve, consume, annihilate, obliterate, and transmute all perceptions and beliefs that I have no value. Produce your perfection in, through, and around me, in, through, and around us. Help us recognize the value within us. Help us recognize our value. Dissolve, consume, and transmute everything that is not the truth. And in the name of God and my mighty I am presence that I am, I command, declare, and decree that I recognize my value now. In the name of God and my mighty I am presence that I am, my great divine spirit team, subconscious mind, and the great white brotherhood of the highest vibrational frequency and consciousness who love and support me unconditionally with your unconditional love and support in your name, I command, declare, and decree that I see my value. I recognize my value. I know that I have value. I know my value. I know my worth. And I give my gift to the world, free of attachment, free of outcome, in service, in great service, doing it with great love. When I speak from now on, I choose to speak with great love. We're going to transition now. Okay, so we're making our way out of the freestyle round into the transition round. I choose to do everything with great love. I choose to really have great love in my heart now. I think that's important. I think it is incredibly important to do things with great love. And I think it's even more important to speak with great love. I think that that is a rare gift to give, not only to myself, but to those around me and to those listening to me. And I choose to acknowledge everyone with respect, and I choose to value everyone. Just because I'm getting a handful of views and some live streams don't even have any views, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I showed up with great love in my heart. I did my best to show up with great love in my heart. That's what matters. And that's what I'm going to make the priority for me moving forward. I'm going to make it a priority. I'm going to make this my priority. Showing up with great love, doing it with great love in my heart, being supportive, being kind, showing up with great love in my heart. Lots of great love in my heart. Seeing my value, recognizing that what I have to share is important, recognizing my worth. I choose to recognize my value now. I choose to see my greatness now. I choose to recognize how valuable I am. I choose to recognize all the blessings, miracles, and gifts in my life. I choose to recognize that, and I choose to believe that God gave me this voice. God gave me this body. God created this face. God created these hands. God created this body. This is who I am. And I choose to honor that with great love in my heart. And to the part of me that felt ignored, that felt undervalued, I love you. And I apologize. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive myself. Thank you. I love you, and I apologize for creating you. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. Thank you. I love you, and I apologize for creating you. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the world, and I thank you for your existence. With unconditional love and acceptance, I now send you back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. I love you, and I apologize for creating you. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the world, and I thank you for your existence. With unconditional love and acceptance, I now send you back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. I love you, and I apologize for creating you. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the world, and I thank you for your existence. With unconditional love and acceptance, I now send you back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. I love you, and I apologize for creating you. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the world, and I thank you for your existence. With unconditional love and acceptance, I now send you back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. I love you, and I apologize for creating you. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the world, and I thank you for your existence. With unconditional love and acceptance, I now send you back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. And so it is, and so it was. Thank you. Okay, and now let's install the belief, okay? Let's install the belief that I have something of value to say. I have something of value to share. What I have to say is valuable, because it is. Yes, I used to believe that what I had to say was not valuable. Yes, I had a biological mother who ignored me. Yes, that hurt. Yes, I was hurt by those things. Yes, I would have experiences in my life where I felt ignored by others, by strangers, by even my own family, you know? Yes, that's true. For me, my perception of reality, true for me. Is it the truth? Probably not. Maybe I can find other reasons where I can say, hey, maybe maybe it was true that I am valuable. Maybe it is true that I have something of value to say. Maybe it is true. Maybe people do listen to me. I remember when I had the last YouTube channel. In the last YouTube channel, I documented me going to Peru and taking ayahuasca. And then after that experience, I had other people reaching out to me and asking me about that. They were asking me about ayahuasca and where do they go for ayahuasca. And I was able to help them. I was able to guide them through that and talk to them about this. And I remember one person went and took ayahuasca, and it was a experience for them. It was a good, I think it was a good experience for them, at least from what they were saying, and it helped them. So that was a person that valued what I had to say. That was a person that listened to what I had to say. They were listening. That's great. That's absolutely great. And I'm grateful that they did. I'm grateful that they did listen. And I'm grateful that they did. How did that make me feel? It made me feel important. It made me feel like, hey, okay, someone's listening. I can buy the microphone. I can buy the camera. I can buy the lights. Sure, I can buy even the accent light. But can I speak in such a way that people are actually influenced to do something? I think so, because even still, Hema, my partner, when I took ayahuasca, she was curious, and then after that, we took ayahuasca together. So there you go. And it's not just ayahuasca, it's other things too. There have been times where Hema would ask me about our daughter and if I see anything, if there's any visions that come to me about that. So she's asked me, and that's it. So it's done. I think what I have to say is valuable. I just think that I have to share what I think is valuable with the right people. And I think I just have to get in front of the right people. I think that's really closer to true. I think that's more it. And that's it. I think it could be that simple. I think it could really be that simple. And I think it could be really that easy. And I think I can do that. I really think I can do that. And I think that what I have to say is valuable. I think what I have to say is important. I just have to see myself as important. I have to recognize my value. I have to recognize that I am important, that I have something of value to share with the world, and I'm just going to share that. Maybe not all people are going to resonate with that. Maybe some people may disagree with it. That's okay. That's fine. Okay, fine. No problem. Easy for me. I can let that go. I can stop getting hurt by these things. I can stop feeling offended. I can stop taking it personally. I'm going to follow the author's suggestions from the 4 Agreements. I think Miguel Ruiz. Don't take anything personally. Always do your best. Don't take anything personally. I forgot the other 2, but I remember that. Don't take anything personally, and I'm not going to take anything personally. That's it. I was that type of person. But now, I choose to be the type of person who just doesn't take it personally. I used to take it personally, but I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was the type of person that did take it personally, I choose to let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I believed I had nothing of value to share, I choose to let that belief go from my subconscious mind. Even though I felt awkward sometimes speaking in front of the camera, I let that go from my nervous system now. I choose to embrace who I am. I choose to honor myself and my voice. I choose to recognize my gifts. I choose to remember that I'm talented. I'm very talented. I have a lot to share. I have a lot to give, and I'm only 37 years old. There's still a whole lot more. 13 years from now could be a very transformative, everything could really transform. I just have to let go of these self-sabotaging tendencies or these thoughts in my head. These thoughts in my head that are not in my greatest and highest good. I can let that go. I can let that go. I can improve. I can improve. Just like Cristiano Ronaldo said when he was going to the gym and he was really thin and small. He said, hey, look, we can improve. We can go to the gym. We can gym. We can improve. I can improve. This can all be improved. And I recognize that. And I accept that for what it is. Everything can be improved. I can improve. I can improve myself. I can improve myself. I can improve. I let go of that belief that what I have to say isn't valuable. I choose to believe now that I have something important that is valuable. I have a gift. I have a gift. And I remember running that Williamsburg Bridge when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. And I just to be thinking about my life. Thinking about how I'm homeless. And I gotta be asking myself, there has to be a reason for this. Like, there has to be a reason for this. Why am I going through this? There has to be a reason. And I choose to let God into my heart. I choose to open up my heart more to God now. I choose to accept that, hey, I'm on this path. I'm on my own unique path. I have my own unique journey to be on. No one else can walk this path but me. This is the path that God has paved for me. I just got to walk it. It's all leading me back to God. Helping me open my heart. Helping me do things with great love. And I choose to do everything with great love now. I choose to do so much with great love. I choose to live a life that's full. I choose to live a life that's peaceful and joyful. I choose to do everything I can possibly do with great love, wisdom, and power. So maybe I can say and speak and share things and know that it's valuable. Maybe this is really valuable. I've seen it with other people that are on YouTube and social media. Their words are very powerful. Their words are valuable. Maybe this is valuable. Maybe I am valuable. I choose to accept that. I can accept that. Can I accept that? Yes. I can accept that. I can accept that, hey, I've got some value. I may not be the richest. I may not have all the money. Fine. But hey, you know what? I'm able to provide for us. We have a roof over our head. I make sure we always have food. I make sure always that we have the bills paid, the lights are good. We have those things. And yes, we may not be rocking Gucci or Prada. That's fine for now, that's fine. I don't care about that. I care about, hey, do I have clothes on my back? Yes. Did I buy it secondhand? Yeah, sure. And I would never pay retail. I'll never pay retail for something where I can get it for like 80% of the price. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I wouldn't do that. That's crazy for me. Why would I pay a markup fee that's like 70% minimum? And that's exactly what happens with clothes, All these brands, they charge a markup, and that's how they make money. So you're paying, $3 for something, and you're going to get a 70% markup on something, or $10 to make it, you're going to get a 70% markup, or even 80 or 90, 100% markup. Who knows? I could find that out if I really wanted to, but do I really want to waste my time and energy on that? No. The point is, yeah, all these things. Yes, I may not have all the other things. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Even just last year, 2025, 36 years old, that was the first time I got a car. I never intended to get a car. I didn't even care about having a car, but it became a necessity to have a car. So I'm grateful that I had the cash saved in the bank to get a pre-owned car. And I choose to recognize my value. I choose to recognize that all the systems that I'm building, I think it's going to really have a huge, massive effect. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the things that I'm working on, the systems that I'm building, having a massive, beautiful effect. A massive effect. Massive. I believe this will have a very massive effect. And I'm looking forward to that. I think this could be a very impactful thing to talk about emotions and feelings and perceptions, states of reality. And I just allow myself to go with this. I allow myself to flow. I don't think there is any right or wrong when building a personal brand. I just think it's you. Being at peace with yourself, recognizing the value. And now I recognize my value. Now I recognize my value. Yeah. I think I am pretty valuable. I'm doing my best to help Hama. I'm doing my best to be a good partner. I'm doing my best to be the best father I can be. That's so important to me. And I think to myself, yeah, I can give these things to my kids. This can be something that I give to them. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I see that, and I'm grateful that I recognize that in myself. And I'm grateful I know that. I'm really grateful that I do know that. And now that I do know that, I can move forward with my life. Now that I recognize my value, I can move forward with my life. Now that I see how important what I have to say and what I have to share is, I can give my gift with confidence. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's confidence. That's what I need. That's what I needed right there. Confidence. Confidence, yes. Tap with me. Tap with me here. Now that I know I have something of value to say, I can give my gift with confidence. Now that I know I have something of value to share, I can give my gift with confidence. Now that I know I have something of value to say, I can speak with confidence. Now that I believe I have something of value to say, I can speak with confidence. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence. Now that I have something of value to say, there we go, I speak with confidence. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. There we go. That's it. Here, let's lock this in. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Now that I have something of value to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Okay, now let's lock this in here with the 9 gamut point. Okay, this is a new one that I haven't shown, but this is basically to really anchor in the beliefs. We're going to make a fist, put that to your heart, 2 fingers. We're going to tap between the pinky bone knuckle and the ring finger bone knuckle. Okay, so right here. Okay, we're going to get this little point right here. I just want us to tap on this. Okay, you're going to follow my eye movements. I'm going to speak them out, and every single time we're going to repeat what we just did. Okay, starting with the eyes closed. Repeat after me. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Eyes open, repeat. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Eyes down to the right as if you're looking at your shoulder. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Back to the center. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Look down to the left. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Back to center. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Roll your eyes clockwise, starting from 12 o'clock. Follow my eyes if you need to. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Reverse, counterclockwise. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Back to center. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. We're going to hum happy birthday for 10 seconds. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hum happy birthday. Repeat. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Look down and then up again. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Grip your hand, grip your wrist. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Pray your hands. Now that I have something important to say, I speak with confidence, certainty, and charisma. Done. Okay, thank you so much for coming to today's live stream. If you found that helpful, come back again tomorrow, 4:32 a.m. Central European time, Austria time, and we're going to tap on the very next thing. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that was helpful for you. And remember, just keep tapping. And also remember too, we love you, you are loved, and God loves you. I got to come up with a better outro, but I'll get there. All right. See you later.